Without losing heart, King Vikram retraced his determined steps towards the banyan tree, ignoring the horrifying laughter from the corpse. He reclaimed it and slung it on his shoulder. With a firm determination, he walked towards a direction where the monk was waiting for him.
King Vikram, I think you are helping the monk because of some senseless and hasty decision you have taken. Words or oaths taken without thought often lead a man to ruins. To make it clearer, you must listen to this story. But on no account must you speak out, or I'll fly back to where I belong. In a city named Shivpur, there lived a merchant named Ramanand. He had two sons, Sudhakar and Dayakar. Sudhakar was a handsome young man, but was not very intelligent. On the other hand, Dayakar had rather ugly features, but he was a bright fellow who was learned in all the spheres of business and personal matters. A merchant named Guneshwar also lived in Shivpur. He had two daughters. The old one was Rama and the younger one was Shobha. Guneshwar decided that he would get his daughters married to Ramanand's sons. He put his proposal before Ramanand. Ramanand became very happy with the proposal. Rama was impressed by Sudhakar's handsome looks and she chose him to be her husband. But Shobha refused to marry Dayakar due to his ugly looks. Dayakar grew angry, had been rejected. He took an oath and decided to marry a far more beautiful girl than Shobha. A few weeks later, Sudhakar and Rama were married. Unfortunately, a few days after the ceremony, old Ramanand breathed his last.
Dear brother, my sister Shobha rejected your proposal, and maybe you're angry with me too. After all, she is my sister. I'm scared about our future.
No, Bhabiji, have no fears. What can I do to make you feel secure?
Just write half of this business and property in your brother's name.
Why do you ask for half of it? You can take all of it.
So Dayakar gave all his wealth to his brother. But as it always happens, having got so much wealth at one go, Rama and Sudhakar became very proud. They did not care for Dayakar anymore. Dayakar realized change in the attitude. He understood well that without money, no person held any importance for others. Therefore, he decided to leave home.
Don't leave, brother. It is a matter of our prestige. People would think that we banished you from home.
No, don't worry, Bhabiji. You just tell everyone that I gave up all this wealth to you out of kindness. I will use my own skills and power to earn money. I'll come back after becoming a rich man.
With this oath, Dayakar left home. As he walked through a forest, he felt very hungry. He had not eaten for a long time. As he looked around for some fruit, he noticed two men lying on the ground under a shady tree. He approached them.
Oh, stranger, please help us. The Dacoits looted all our money and beat us up. We are too hurt and weak to walk. We are also feeling very hungry. Can you give us some food?
Dayakar looked around and saw a fruit tree laden with some fruits nearby. He picked all the fruits, then making a plate out of some leaves, he offered the fruits to them.
Please eat these fruits. You will surely feel better. Once you have had your fill, please leave some fruits for me to eat, for I am hungry too.
Both of them chewed at the fruits hungrily and ate all the fruits. Then they felt sorry for having acted this way.
We are sorry for eating up all the fruits, but we want to pay back for your kind act. My name is Ratnaswamy. I am a rich merchant from Bijpur. This is my helper, Kusmakar. Is there any way we can help you?
He told his story to the merchant. After hearing his tale of woes, the merchant said,
I have no son to take care of my business. You come and take care of my business.
Dayakar agreed to this and accompanied Ratnaswamy and Kusmakar to Bijpur. Dayakar started working in Ratnaswamy's shop. While to repay his kindness, Kusmakar let Dayakar stay in his house. Other than a good salary, Ratnaswamy also gave shares of his profit to Dayakar. Thus, Dayakar now had some wealth for his future too. Kusmakar's beautiful daughter Manorma was impressed by Dayakar's intelligence and hard work. She fell in love with him and decided to marry him.
I am a beautiful girl, while Dayakar is a homely fellow. He cannot reject someone as attractive as me. He has taken an oath to marry a beautiful girl. So surely he will accept me as his life partner.
On the other hand, Ratnaswami had a rather ugly daughter named Rajwati. Manorama and Rajwati were good friends. Rajwati also had the same feelings and thoughts for Dayakar.
I'm from a rich family, and Dayakar is a simple, not so well-off man. He cannot refuse my proposal, for he has promised his bhabhi that he would return after becoming a rich man.
Manorama did not know how to express her love to Dayakar, so she decided to consult that with Rajwati. During the course of conversation, both the friends realized that they both loved Dayakar. So they decided that whoever Dayakar would choose between them, the other would accept it without any ill feelings. Back at home, Manorama thought. On the other hand, Rajwati thought. Both the girls told their fathers about their desires to marry Dayakar. Both Ratnaswami and Kusmakar went with the proposals to Dayakar. Dayakar thought for a while and then accepted Ratnaswami's proposal and married Rajwati. King Vikram, you must tell me that what made Dayakar reject Manorama? She was a beautiful girl, but he accepted the homely Rajwati as his wife. Don't you think he married Rajwati for the money? So he kept his oath of getting rich. But what about his oath for marrying a beautiful girl who was better looking than Shobha? Did he not break an oath by doing so? Tell me, Vikram. But remember, I know that you know the right answer to my questions. If you'll give me the right answer, I will fly back to my banyan tree. But if you'll give me the wrong answer, even after knowing the correct one, your head will burst into 1,000 pieces.
Vetal, Dayakar's decision to marry Rajwati was correct and true justice indeed. He did not marry Rajwati for money. It was apparent that he was not greedy when he gave up all his wealth to his brother. His kindness was clearly seen when he fed Ratnaswami and Kusmakar in the forest while he himself went hungry. The same way, his decision to marry Rajwati sprung from the inner good values of his duty and rights that he was aware of. He knew anyone would be ready to marry beautiful Manorama, but homely Rajwati would get a husband who would love her money, but not her. So, it would be impossible to get a husband for Rajwati who would love her for the person she was. It was his dharma to marry her. His oath to marry a beautiful girl was taken in haste. For such a silly oath, he could not forget his dharma. That is why he married Rajwati. Good values and dharma ruled his decisions. So it was true justice after all.
King Vikram, your replies have satisfied me. As always, your answers are full of wisdom. But now that you have spoken, I will go back to my banyan tree.
With these words, Vetal flew back to the banyan tree once again.